Hey guys, Alton here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to our third installment video for our Linux Fundamentals for Ethical Hacking series here on my YouTube channel. So for today's video, for today's teach back, and for those of you that don't know what I mean when I say teach back, well, I'm teaching back to you guys what I learned because I'm also learning ethical hacking. So for today's teach back, we're going to be talking about the command line interface. Specifically, we call that the terminal in Linux, and we'll be learning some basic commands in the command line interface. So before we jump over to my computer, let's talk about why we need to learn these commands. Why do we need to familiarize ourselves with the terminal and the various commands that we'd use on it? Well, the reason is because as an ethical hacker, lots of times you're not going to have direct access to a target system. You're going to be connecting remotely, and when you connect remotely, well, you're going to do it through Telnet or SSH, and when you do that, it's going to be through the command line. So everything that you'll be doing, well, it'll be through the command line. And also within Linux itself, a lot of the tools will be accessed through command line itself as well. So within Kali, a lot of those tools are going to be through the CLI, the command line interface. And thirdly, a lot of the remote systems as well, the ones that you're going to be targeting, let's say, for example, a web server, well, that's not going to have a GUI interface. It's simply just going to have a command line interface. So when we are on our laptop at home on Windows 10, that's a GUI interface. On Kali Linux, it's a GUI interface by default. But when we think about servers, lots of times they're not going to install a GUI interface because that's resource intensive. And we want to cut down on as much resources as we can. And if we cut out the GUI interface altogether, well, you know what? That helps the system with its performance. So for all those different reasons, you need to familiarize yourself and be well versed in the CLI commands for terminal in Linux. So let's go ahead, let's jump over to my PC and let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So as you can see, I already have my Kali Linux virtual machine up and running, and I'm running the GNOME GUI interface because, well, I like this interface and I'm not too worried about Kali undercover. So the goal with this video is to cover some basic commands. So I don't know if we're gonna get through all of them in this video because I don't wanna make it too long, but I wanna do some basic commands. pwd, which is our print working directory. cd is to change directories. mkdir is our make directory command. Touch we use to create files. ls is going to list the contents in our directory. cp is copy. mv is move. rm is remove, and rmdir is remove directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our folders over here. I'm going to bring it over here to the right just by scrolling all the way to the edge where you see the color change. It's going to take up half the screen, and we're going to put terminal on the left. So what are we going to do? Well, let's go ahead and let's get started with the first one. So print working directory, and that pretty much tells you the directory that we're in. We are in the home/Kali directory. So if we go to other locations, and other locations allows us to click on our computer, and what you're going to see is now we're in the base, the root of the file directory. And what you're going to see here is we are in home/Kali. So home/Kali, that's the home directory for our user. So remember, the default user for this install, the username is Kali. So this is our home directory. Very simple enough, easy command. Now let's say that we wanted to list the contents. Well, we can do ls, and this is going to list the contents of this directory. Now, when we're listing the directory contents, we can also list the hidden files, or we can do a long listing. These are called switches. So we do ls-l, and let me go ahead and make sure I'm clicked on the machine. And let me actually, let's reduce the size of this over here. Let's push this over a bit, and let's reduce this a little bit. And I also just want to go in the preferences and reduce the font size down a little bit more. Okay, apply. because I want you to be able to see everything. And let's rerun this command. I can actually click the up arrow, and that's going to allow us to go through the history of our commands. So you'll notice that this is the last command we did, and I hit enter. Now what you're going to see down here, this is a long format. So these are the permissions and the username and the password. There's some additional stuff on here, the file size, the name, and the actual name of the content itself. We can also do the clear command. So let me actually just go ahead and add that to this list. This, like its name implies, it'll clear this out so you don't see all the other commands. So let's go back and let's do the ls command again, but let's do the -a. This allows us to see hidden files. And you're going to notice the dot, double dot, anything with the dot here. There's a lot of things on here now that we don't see over here. We don't see the hidden files. We can go a step further. We can do ls-la or al, and this is going to do the long format and include all the hidden files in addition to the ones that we can see. So that's the ls command. Now we can even do this on other directories. So let me clear this. So we can do ls, and we'll do -l, and then let's say we want to look in the desktop. Now we can do tab to autocomplete, and you're going to notice that if it doesn't allow me to do it, and actually, sorry, there's no dash there, so we can do tab to autocomplete. Now it allows me to do it, and hit enter. This is going to show us the contents of desktop. There's nothing on there. So let's go into desktop over here, and let's actually create something. Let's create a new folder, and we'll just call it test folder. Now let's run this command again. So we'll do the up arrow, and now it shows the test folder. So we can run the ls command on any directory that we want, not only just the one that we're in. So if we wanted to do it on, let's go back, let's do our print working directory so we know where we're in home. And if we go back to here, let's say that we wanted to do the ls command on documents. So I'll start typing that in. I'll hit tab to autocomplete, hit enter. You're going to notice that there's nothing in here. So it's blank. So that's the ls command. Now let me go ahead and highlight these and change these to a different color for the ones that we've completed. So I'll just put them in green. So we've done print working directory, we've done ls to list the contents, we've done clear. So let's do change directory. So let's clear this again. And of course I need to make sure that I am on my virtual machine. So let's clear this out. Let's do print working directory again. And let's do an ls to show the different subfolders. So let's say that we wanted to move to a different directory. So with changing directories, there's lots of different things that we can do. Now, the first thing that I want to do with change directory is I want to show you how to move back a step, because remember, we are in our home directory for our different user account, but so we're in our Kali home directory, which we see here, but remember there's directories above us. So what if we wanted to move out? We can do cd space dash dash, and what that's going to do, now we're no longer in the Kali home. If we do print working directory, we're now just in home. So we've moved from being in this directory now to this directory. And if we run this command again, and not print working directory, but cd dash dash, now we've moved out from there to one step back further. If we click print working directory, we are in the root directory. If we type ls, you're going to notice we see all these directories here. And so let me just do, and it allows me, let's see if I can do that. There we go. So if I do cd dash dash, that's the option to move back. Now, what if I want to move back to my home directory? Then it's going to be cd and this, I believe this is called a tilde. I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that, but cd space that. And if I do print working directory, we're back into our home directory. Very easy, right? So let's clear all this out. Now let's say that we wanted to move to a specific directory. So let's do our ls. Let's say that if we wanted to move to desktop, we would do cd and the name of the child directory. And Linux is case sensitive, so if I type in desktop, you're going to notice it doesn't work because, well, there is no directory with a lowercase d. We have to do cd desktop with a capital C, and now we're in desktop. Now, what if we wanted to actually move to a specific directory that's not a child directory? Well, then you can do it explicitly by putting the dash in front of it. So we are in, and let's actually do this. So we are in Home, Kali, Desktop. But what if we wanted to move out to a different directory? So we could do the slash in front of it. So let's go ahead and let's clear this out. And let's just double check where we are, print working directory, and let's do that. So let's go ahead and let's move back to the home folder. So remember, if I do cd and I do the /, what we want to do is we want to move back several locations. So what I want to do is I want to move to here. So this is a parent folder. This is not a folder that we're within. So if I type in home and do tab to autocomplete, we're going to go back all the way to here, and by putting the dash in front of this allows us to go wherever we want. We don't actually have to be in that directory. So we can do cd / and I'll just say directory name, and we can do that. So that's to move to any directory, and cd and then child directory, and I'll just do child dir. This allows us to move into a child directory without the dash. And let's not save this. So let's just go ahead, and looks like this froze up on me. So let's go ahead and let's now highlight all this. So those are those commands, right? Simple enough. So again, let's clear this out. And now let's do make directories. So we can make directories as well. So we can create a directory. So what I want to do is let's go back to our home directory, and let's type in print working directory. So we're in home Kali. Let's list the contents. We'll do it in long format, and let's go to our documents. So let me go over here on the right to documents. So let's go to cd documents. I'll just hit tab to autocomplete, and now we're in the documents. Again, practice makes perfect. So let's type in print working directory to confirm that we're there, even though we can already see it here. So let's make a directory. So we simply type mkdir, and we'll just call it testdir1. Now you're going to notice over here that directory popped up. Now we can also create a directory within a directory as well. So we can create a parent directory and a child directory. So what we could do is we can put in a specific switch that allows us to do that. So we're going to do mkdir -p, allows us to do the parent and the child, and we're going to create testdir2 /testdir3. Hit enter, and now what you're going to notice on the right, if I click into here, we have our child directory as well. So we can create multiple different directories. Now we don't have to be in a specific directory to make these either. So if we wanted to, we could do, and actually I didn't mean to do the search there. I'm not actually going to do the command. We could do the dash, and let's say we wanted to do it on desktop. We could do it in there and put it in there specifically. So that's how we make directories. Very simple, very easy, right? So remember, if you want to do the parent with the child, do the -p as well. So that's make directory. So let's go ahead and let's highlight that. Let's clear this out. Now, what if we wanted to create some documents in these directories, or if we wanted to create a document right here? We use a command called touch, which is the one that we're going to talk about next. So we type in touch space, and let's just create a test file. So we're just going to call it test file 1. And you're going to notice that it just creates it right here. Well, what if I wanted to create it in a directory? Well, I can do touch testdir, and you're going to notice if I hit tab, it's going to tell us, and if I continue to hit the tab more than once, it's going to give me the options here. It's not going to autocomplete because there's number 1 and number 2. So let's put it in number 1, and let's call this testdir1 doc. Hit enter, and if we go into here, there it is. And we can change directory. We can go into testdir1, and we can type in list contents, and there it is. So now we are in this directory. So that's how we can create an empty file using the touch command. Again, we're not taking a really deep dive look, we're just doing the basics, but over time you can add in additional switches and stuff into here to do different things with these, but I just want to cover the basics with all this. So let's clear this out, and now let's work with the copy command. So the copy command works in a way where we say copy the file to a specific destination. All right, so let's do the copy command. So we're going to copy this directory. So we're in our documents in test directory 1. We're going to copy this one to our desktop. So what we would do, the copy command is cp, and it's going to be for the syntax, the name of the file. So there's only one file in here, so we can just type in test and tab. And now we want to move it to the desktop. So we need to do -home -Kali and then desktop. And if we hit enter, what we can do is we can go back to our home directory, click on desktop, and you're going to notice that we copied it there. Now if we want to copy it anywhere outside of our home directory, so let's say that we wanted to copy it to one of these directories in here. So if we went into etc and copied into here or any of these other directories, we would have to type in the sudo command as well, but I wouldn't recommend copying it into any other directories in regards to copying these test files unless you know exactly what all these directories are for. But if you're working in your home directory, then copying is fairly straightforward in regards to that. So just the name of the file and where you're going to copy it. Now we can also use the move command. So the move command is pretty much going to be the same thing, but we can also use move to rename a file as well. So let's go ahead and let's go back into our documents and test directory 1. So let's go ahead and let's move this into downloads. So home Kali downloads. So the command is going to be mv, and so we're going to take this document and -home Kali and type in down and let it complete, and if I hit enter, it'll move it. If I want to change the name, I can give it a new name right here. If I don't want to change the name, I just leave the syntax of that. But if I want to give it a new name, we can say new doc name, and it'll give it a new name there. So if we hit enter, you're going to notice that it disappeared. If we go to downloads, it's moved there with the new name. So the syntax is the same thing as copy, but remember, if I add in at the end of the location the new name of the document, it's going to rename it as well. So that is the move command. And of course, I don't want to save this. I keep wanting to save this just because I'm used to saving my files. The next thing is removing files. So let's go ahead and let's back out of this one directory. So let's go to documents. And we know that there's this test file 1 right here. So we simply just type in rm, and let's say we want to remove test file 1. You're going to notice, because we have multiple different things with test, if I hit tab, it's going to tell me we have 3 different options. So I need to continue typing, and now I can remove this. So we'll hit remove, and now that file is removed. Very simple. Now what if we want to remove a directory? Well, we're going to need to use the remove directory command. So let's clear this out. And remember, with test directory 2, we have a subdirectory. Well, with test directory 1, there's nothing in there, right? So we can use the rmdir command to remove a directory that's empty. So if I do test dir1, it's going to remove it. But what if I want to remove a directory with content in it? We have to do a -r, which stands for recursive, so remove the parent and the child. So we do rmdir -r and test dir2, but without that, I won't be able to remove it. So let's go ahead and let's just use the arrow to go back, and let's hit enter. You're going to notice that it failed because this has content in it. It has another directory. But if I put in the -r, the recursive, and I hit enter, and let me go ahead and, let me do this the proper way. It's actually rm-r, not remove directory. So we'd have to use recursive with remove to remove a directory with content below it. And now it removes it. So let me clarify that real quick, because I did kind of mix up the two. So we use remove to remove a single file. We use remove to remove, and I'll just do 1. I'll just call this 1, and in here I will call this 2. So if I want to remove a directory that has nothing in it, we do the rmdir. But if I want to remove a directory that has something in it, whether it's file or folder or multiple different contents, we have to use the remove command with a -r, and then it gets removed. So that's going to conclude this video. So we covered a lot of different basic commands in this video: print working directory, clear, change directory, make directory, touch to create a blank file, ls to show the contents of a directory, copy to copy a file, move to move a file, rm to remove a file, or rm-r to remove a folder with subcontents, and to remove an empty directory, rmdir. So hopefully this was insightful and useful for you guys, covering the basic commands for Linux. Again, a lot of the things that we're going to be doing as ethical hackers is working in the terminal, so we need to know these basic commands. We need to know how to get around and do basic things in Linux. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys at future videos. Take care.